You guys, TMZ just released the full hotel video of Diddy and Cassie. Here is another angle from the hotel footage that we have not seen before. The man in the suit and tie that was following Diddy was actually Israel Flores, the man that just testified at Diddy's trial. And here's a picture of the aftermath of Sean Diddy Combs throwing the vase towards Cassie. As you can see, this area of the hotel is basically trashed. I mean, there's glass everywhere. Here is another picture that TMZ released. I don't know necessarily where this was in the hotel. I don't know if it was in the room, in the hallway, but as you can see, there's more damage and some type of broken item. I don't know what it is though, but another picture of the aftermath of Diddy's wrath, basically. The jury has already viewed this video in the Diddy trial. So if you guys do want to go check out the unedited hotel footage, TMZ does have the link in their bio on this app.
How are you? Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Okay, y'all, Cassie's back on the stand, and she just dropped something that made the whole courtroom shift in their seats. She said after those freak-offs, she and Diddy would take IV fluids, get massages, and pop opiates just to recover. Opiates made her feel numb. That's what she told the jury. And get this, the UTIs were so bad and so frequent, the meds stopped working. And yes, she still had to show up to perform. Then things get even more disturbing. Allegedly, someone told her that there was a leaked Schmeck's tape of her going around Atlantic City in 2014. Cassie says her first thought was, it has to be from a freak-off. She texts Diddy in a panic, and he tells her, you gotta tell him this is your life. This is serious. She even pulled up to the confrontation with security to intimidate the guy, and her manager was right there too. Cassie's not done, and word is they're gonna play one of these videos for the jury soon. Do y'all think Diddy knew that tape was out, or was this another scare tactic in play? Let me know what you think in the comments.
I was in the courtroom as Cassie was testifying, so let me tell you guys everything that you didn't see or may have not heard, because it's a lot. I will say the most damning part of her testimony for me is when she describes a freak-off where Diddy and another man, an escort, are standing on top of her while she is laying on the floor high off of ecstasy, and they are urinating on her face to the point where she is choking on their pee. And to further give context, on the right-hand side of the court seated is her husband, Alex Fine. On the left-hand side, Diddy's 6 out of 7 kids are sitting in the courtroom as Cassie is describing having weekly freak-offs for years that would last 2, 3, one lasted up to 4 days. She talked about damaging hotel rooms so bad in one instance that they had to pay such a hefty fee because the hotel told them that they needed to completely redecorate the room after a freak-off. After a freak-off, there would be blood, urine, and lots of baby oil. There was so much baby oil. There was also so much baby oil talk to the point where the judge at one point told prosecutors, wrap it up. But before we even got there, a very pregnant Cassie was called to the stand. She was wearing a tight brown turtleneck dress that was hugging her baby bump. When she sat down, you could tell she was nervous. And if you couldn't, you quickly picked up on it, because once she started talking, you noticed that she paused a lot. She would sigh heavily before she answered a question. One of those moments was when she explained to the court that a year into their relationship, that Diddy had approached her with this fantasy that he had. He called it voyeurism, where he wanted to see her have sex with another man, later referred to as freak-offs. She said her stomach dropped. She was 22 years old. She described herself as very naive and a people pleaser. She said the only reason that she agreed to it is because she knew it would make him happy, and she was afraid what would happen if she said no. That's also around the time, she says, that he started to get abusive. Most of her testimony today was spent on talking about these freak-offs, the different escorts that they would use, the different hotels that they would use. She said that she would find escorts off of Craigslist and this escort service called Cowboys for Angels. And to describe them they weren't the most attractive men, right? They were very average looking. Some of them weren't even conventionally attractive. One thing they had in common is most of them were black because Diddy preferred for her black men with a big D, she said. At one point, Cassie broke down in tears when the prosecutor asked her, why didn't you leave? If the freak-offs, as you explained, were so disgusting and humiliating, why not leave? And she started crying and said that she was very deeply in love and this was the only alone time that she could get with Diddy. And it got to a point where this was kind of the only emotional connection that she was getting from this man that she was dating. So much more that I'll cover in another video, including his incessant phone calls, him tracking her down with his security, and her never being able to escape him.
Diddy's freak-off tape with Cassie Ventura was recorded by Jonathan Audi. And now Jonathan Audi is speaking out publicly about being in a freak-off with Cassie Ventura and Diddy. I'm sure you guys remember him from back in 2018 in a viral interview with police where he admitted that he was a slave for Diddy and Cassie and he had about 15 encounters, and then he took a $5 million settlement from Diddy. And you guys have probably most recently heard about him because the NDA that he had with Diddy back on July 9th of 2014 was just leaked to the media. And now Jonathan Audi is detailing everything that happened during his encounters with Diddy and Cassie, and he explained what led up to the $5 million settlement between him and Diddy. Jonathan Audi claimed that he worked at Chippendales, and this is how they found him to recruit him for these freak-offs. He explained how Diddy would even set up these freak-offs, and it is so eerily similar to Cassie's testimony. He said Diddy would tell them what to do, and he would be sitting in a corner and pleasuring himself. He claimed that during one of these freak-off encounters, Cassie was so messed up, he had a fake camera hidden in a USB drive that he laid on the table, and he recorded these freak-offs because he was scared that she was going to pass away and they might blame him for it. I thought I was shocked when the NDA came out because that is legit proof that they had some type of settlement, but now to hear him speaking to the media and detailing everything that happened, and after we're hearing all of the details from Cassie Ventura, it literally sent chills up my spine that much more.
I was a male Chippendale, a model Chippendale, you could say, and they called me for a show for the agency that I work for to do a show, and then I went and did a show, and things led to him offering me more money to perform sweat. Candles, sensual atmosphere, lights off. He would sit in a corner in a sofa, watch and meditate, and he'd say, he'd tell her, give me instructions to what to do to me. Perform oral sex, rub baby oil, then he'd tell me to rub baby oil, perform oral sex, and then have sex.
How many times did you have sex with Cassie?
Probably like 15 sessions.
And what did you get paid? How much?
It was like 800 each time. Each act. But sometimes they'll call me twice. I'll leave, and then 3 hours later, they will call me, come back.
Or why did you decide to record or video?
Because after she passed out, I decided to record that. So in the event anything worse happened, like if she died, or anybody died, it will be on camera, it will be on video, what happened. So I wouldn't be responsible for any of that.
So you were beginning to worry about her doing drugs. I mean, like about her dying, or him dying, or somebody dying from the drugs, and that you would be held responsible. So you brought a video. You brought your phone?
No, I had a USB video memory stick done like spy shot, and I put it in the water on the table, in the living room table of the hotel I was staying at. I just filmed it, and it had everything I described, and it had her threatening me. got evidence I've been with you. At the settlement table, there was a lot of irregularities, okay? It was my first settlement. So they brought me in, and Diddy had a t-shirt with two men in ski masks pointing, making gun signs, okay? And it was black and white, and it had a red frame, okay? But that's the way he operates. He communicates, threatening you, like saying, I'm going to have you killed.
Everything that Jonathan Audi just said sounds identical to Cassie Ventura's exact testimony about these freak-offs. And the fact that he said he was so scared that Cassie Ventura was going to pass away because she was passed out on these substances during this freak-off, and this is what prompted him to record these, is insane. And then him claiming him recording this video made them very paranoid, and he started to get threatened over it. And then this is when they would come to the $5 million settlement, which came with this NDA, a confidential settlement agreement, when he agreed to take the $5 million. All of this is absolutely insane, and I can't wait to see if Jonathan Audi is going to get the chance to testify against Diddy in his trial. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Cassie just wanted to sing karaoke for her 29th birthday, but what she got instead, let's just say it wasn't a mic that she ended up holding. She told the jury she planned a cute night out at the Blind Dragon, karaoke, friends, an overall good vibe. But Diddy pulled her aside over and over until she said she just gave up. She told the court, I just wanted to have my birthday, but instead they went and had a freak off. And she said she hated kissing the escorts. It made her squeamish, but he wanted to see it. And as for the drugs, he allegedly texted her that a proper freak-off is one we remember. She said she preferred ketamine because it helped her dissociate. One night meant for candles and karaoke, added in something much darker. If this was her birthday, what happened on the regular nights? I'll be waiting.
Diddy has just been hit with his worst case yet. Diddy has just been accused of paying police officers and prosecutors to lie on his behalf and get people arrested for false crimes. The Michigan inmate, Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who filed a lawsuit against Diddy, now submitted affidavits from prosecutors, police officers, and more saying that Diddy set him up and put him in prison. Derek Lee Cardello Smith filed a lawsuit against Diddy claiming that he was SA'd by Diddy all the way back in 1997. And in his lawsuit, he was trying to subpoena J-Lo and Kirk Burrows on his behalf, saying that they knew this allegedly happened to him. He was claiming that J-Lo was a material witness because of her relationship with Diddy from 1999 to 2001, because he is alleging that his SA was recorded, distributed, and held by Diddy at his New York residence. And he was alleging during J-Lo's relationship with Diddy, she was made privy to the video that was taken by Diddy and his employee Kirk Burrows of this SA, which is honestly wild now to bring back up because Kirk Burrows just filed his lawsuit against Diddy like 2 weeks ago, and some of these allegations are kind of similar. And if you think this is crazy, just wait because it gets a lot crazier. Yesterday, Derek Lee Cardello Smith just filed a new lawsuit with Diddy named in this lawsuit, but it's for habeas corpus. He is alleging that he was falsely imprisoned because of Diddy. He says that Sean Combs framed me, and this is my petition seeking release from custody. He said a Detroit police officer named Nicole Rabber has submitted an affidavit on March 5th of 2025 alleging her role, where she said that she had been working with Sean Combs and she was paid to frame him, and she admitted her role in the form of this affidavit attached. And this is the affidavit from the police officer. She says, my name name is Nicole Rabbert, and I am an officer who authorized the police report in the city of Detroit on January 13th of 2008 against Derek Lee Cardello Smith, a current prisoner in the Michigan Department of Corrections. And the crazy part is he also has an affidavit from the woman that the police officer is talking about too, saying that she lied and she was also allegedly paid by Diddy to lie. She said, I was ordered to make a false police report against Mr. Cardello Smith by Sean John Combs, or P. Diddy, Kim Worthy, Wayne County Prosecutor, Suzette Samuels, Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor, Jose Ortiz, a detective at Detroit Police Department. I was paid a total of $132,000 in cash by Sean John Combs to issue the false police report of the kidnapping and SA against Derek Lee Cardello Smith. She said the arrest warrant was paid by her and the others to the judge of the 36th District Court, and he was paid a total of $5,000 for signing the warrant. And she alleges that this judge worked for Diddy and she was connected to him and forced to pay him, and she paid him the money for these warrants that she knew were false at the time. And he adds an affidavit from the woman that these alleged false crimes happened to. My name is Adria Barmarano, and I state the following is true, and I will attest to them in an open court of law, whether it be criminal or civil. I am the civil complainant in the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Derek Lee Cardello Smith, with the case number of that case. She said, I lied under oath in the 36th District Court in the Wayne County Circuit Court when I said that Derek Lee Cardello Smith kidnapped me and SA'd me. Purpose of my false testimony in January 2008 and June 2008 is because she was paid by Suzette Samuels, the assistant prosecutor for Wayne County, to lie, which this prosecutor also puts in an affidavit. She said, I was paid $10,000 to say that Cardello Smith kidnapped me and SA'd me, and I was given this money by the Wayne County prosecutor, David Cobb, and the sergeant of the Detroit Police Department. I worked directly for Sean Combs of Bad Boy Records, and I was actually a young victim of Sean Combs, and he SA'd me. She said that Diddy was the one that forced her to lie and say that Derek Lee Cardello Smith SA'd her when he did not. And she said that the Wayne County prosecutor's office who paid her to lie and paid her sister to lie also, and say that Derek Lee Cardello Smith SA'd both of them. She alleges that she was paid directly by Diddy in 2007 to bring on SA charges against Derek Lee Cardello Smith. She is alleging that the purpose for bringing on these false charges against Derek Lee Cardello Smith is because Diddy, Dave Cobb, Kyle Worthy, and other people wanted Derek Lee Cardello Smith out of the way because he refused to off somebody for David Cobb. Then it gets even crazier because he also has an affidavit from the prosecutor, Suzette Samuels. She says, my name is Suzette Samuels. I am a lawyer and I am assistant prosecutor attorney for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office in Detroit, Michigan. I prosecuted Mr. Derek Lee Cardello Smith in the criminal case of the people versus the state of Michigan. Worked directly for Kim Worthy, Wayne County Prosecutor, and for Mr. Sean John Combs. The Office of the Wayne County Prosecutor has framed Mr. Derek Lee Cardello Smith for the crimes of the criminal SA conduct beginning in 1997 and in 2008 and then again in 2019 while he was incarcerated. The person who directed these prosecutions were and still are Mr. Sean John Combs and Kim Worthy, the current Wayne County prosecutor. Diddy and the prosecutor ordered the Detroit Police Department's 9th Circuit to arrest and frame Derek Lee Cardello Smith for multiple SAs that he did not commit. And she said that Diddy and the prosecutor directed her to use her powers at the office as assistant Wayne County prosecutor to falsely charge and convict Mr. Derek Lee Cardello Smith with 6 counts of criminal SA conduct. 2 counts of kidnapping, which I did out of fear for my life, and which I did because I was paid to do so. But then it gets even crazier because she said she's done this many other times, totaling 128 black male citizens of Detroit, Flint, and other counties in Michigan that were investors of Bad Boy Records prior to 1997. Honestly, this is the craziest case that I've ever heard, and Derek Lee Cardello Smith also added all of these documents to his lawsuit against Diddy as well. But if you guys want to know that everything this prosecutor also had to say, because it's still 2 more pages long, you guys can watch the whole video over on my YouTube channel at Kadisha Lynn. But this is absolutely wild. Y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Why didn't Cassie just leave? That's what some of y'all have been posting in support of Diddy. Why didn't she just go? You know, she must have liked the life. She must have liked the money. And I'm like, wow, look at you. You just solved it. Just like that. A criminal case out the court. She could have just gotten up and walked. A man who in the case we have seen is known for threatening people, whether it be with their life or explosions, threats, legitimate, pure, high grade. And you sat there with your big brain and you came up with, why didn't she just get up and go? You know what this feels like, especially with the entire thing being, you know, outed in court. It feels like when you're watching, it's like watching a movie, right? Where the kidnapper kidnaps someone and you know everything they use to keep this person a hostage. And then you go, why are they still there? You see what I'm saying? I know some of you are going to be like, no, but like she went home and she had a chance to leave. He paid for many things. But let's really think about it. We have footage of him assaulting her. Do you know how many times that would have happened off camera? It's trying to leave. And you think the one video that you saw was the only video that what? Critical thinking just left everyone at the same time, just whoop. Not individually, at the same time. Like it's baffling, but y'all got it. You solved it. Carry on. You know, I personally, I can't begin to understand where maybe y'all are condoning this type of stuff in your private lives, and that's probably what it is. Because like, why didn't just leave? Like, what?
Did y'all see what Diddy's attorney said in court today? More importantly, what he said about Cassie. He said, and I quote, Cassie had a choice every single day to stay with him. That was her better choice. Until she broke up with him, she was not coerced. When she left, there was no repercussions. She ran into the arms of the physical trainer Combs had hired her to train. Now let's be very fucking clear. This is how abuse gets repackaged as romance. This is how fear gets rewritten as free will. This is how a victim gets put on trial for surviving. And then he had the nerve to say she had a choice. As if living with a man who allegedly blew up cars, controlled every move she made, and weaponized power like it was a sport was just some cute little dating option. Like she was picking between yoga or Pilates. Are y'all fucking serious? Or y'all just sexist? Because Cassie didn't have a choice. She had what we call a calculated survival plan. She didn't run into somebody's arms. Bitch, she escaped. And thank God she escaped with her life. And he explained that away like she broke curfew instead of chains. This is what they do to women. Gaslight them in public, criminalize their trauma, and then call it law. Every time a woman is violated, especially a black woman, y'all pull out that magnifying glass looking for flaws in her story, while the abuser is sitting there with a history of horror and a lawyer team trying to explain it off as romance, rebranding it as love. That baby wasn't coerced. She was terrified. And the fact that they tried to explain it off like it was like her sipping trauma like it's champagne in a VIP. They don't hate liars. They hate women. They hate women who survive. Let's just call it what it is, child. Patriarchy in a Prada suit. Because ain't no way a jury gonna sit there and listen and believe that. But I guess the name of the game is to win the case, but...
Okay, things just got heavier in Cassie's testimony today. And baby, it's not just about Diddy anymore. It's about survival. Cassie told the jury she had an on and off opioid addiction, allegedly sparked by those RICOs. She said she'd used them to come down from ecstasy and MDMA, but more than that, she used them to numb herself. then there's the moment she walked out of her room in LA and saw him holding someone over the balcony, like over the edge. Oh, and don't even get me started on the time she says his own security cried after seeing what he allegedly did to her in a Vegas hotel room. She tried hiding under the toilet, and you won't believe what he told her when he saw her face was bruised up. But let me pause right here, because what he said on FaceTime absolutely unhinged. Meet me in the next video, because it only gets darker.
I'm just trying to figure out P. Diddy and R. Kelly, what's up with this peeing shit? Like, y'all got a thing for piss, and I don't understand it. Now, Casey, my heart goes out to you, especially if he paid somebody to pee in your mouth. But baby, let me tell you something. You should have grabbed hold of that man dingling, and you should have bit the skin off of it and spit it out like sunflower seeds. I'm talking about the barbecue kind. I wouldn't have let go. Yeah, they would have thought I was a manging mud in there, because I would have been shaking my head and locking jaws like a pit bull puppet on that dingling. You gonna pee on who? Yeah, but it's easier for us to get in here and say what I shoulda, coulda, woulda done. We know, but somebody like P. Diddy, he got money, so I'm sure he had that girl phone locked up, people standing by the door so nobody could get in. He probably held the hostage, all type of stuff. And I don't want to hear he's innocent until proven guilty. Did y'all see that tape that he whooped that girl when she got out of the elevator? Did y'all see the same tape we seen? Yeah, he did it. Yeah, he did that. But God, dog, you a freak nasty motherfucker. Like, I'm talking about disgusting. Pay? You pay somebody to pee in her mouth? Oh, Lord, I would have spit it back at everybody. You would have thought I was a lava breathing dragon. I would have... No, for real, though. I feel so bad. My heart goes out to Casey, especially with all this stuff coming out. My heart went out to her when the first video came out with him whooping her as if she was just a man in the streets. So this case definitely finna be interesting. I will be talking about everything they talk about on there. So if you don't want to hear it, or you feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, get your ass off of here. Because I promise to you, I'm naming everybody. Anything that I hear or see, I'm going to talk about it. But Diddy, lock your ass up. Keep him in there. Yeah, he had enough fun out here. We don't need him outside of this damn thing no more. I'm telling you now.
Okay, y'all. Day 3 of the Diddy trial started off heated before Cassie even got back to the stand. Here's what happened. The prosecutor snapped on Diddy's legal team trying to accuse them of doing a trial by ambush. She said the defense was withholding evidence that they were going to use to cross-examine Cassie. But Diddy's lawyers fired back. They said, "We don't owe y'all nothing. Y'all have the burden of proof." The judge shut it down and ruled in the defense's favor. Child tensions are already high, okay? Cassie took the stand and started off with a bomb drop. She said Diddy used her sex tapes to control her. She said he would remind me of videos during freak-offs, especially when he was upset with me. She said he brought it up on her birthday one time because she didn't want to leave her friends. She said, and I quote, "It was horrible. It could ruin everything I worked for and make me look like a slut. I never wanted to do that in those videos." She also said that ketamine was her drug of choice because it helped her disassociate during these orgies she didn't want to participate in. She once again recounted the escort sites that she got escorts from, like Cowboys for Angels, remembering names like Ash, Skylar, and Jake. They also brought up the 2016 incident again. They keep going back to this incident for some reason. She said that he hurled a vase at her in the hallway, but he missed. Thank God. She said, "I don't remember his exact words, but I'm sure he was calling me something other than my name." She said when security got there, they were made aware that she was clearly not able to leave on her own accord. She said that Diddy told her she wasn't going to leave him and she couldn't. So after the hotel incident, she actually did leave. He showed up to her apartment unannounced. She's not even sure how he got up to the 17th floor where she lived, but it was total chaos. He was banging on the door, kicking, screaming, yelling. He wasn't able to get inside though. They then go on to talk about Cassie being in the movie The Perfect Match and her attending the premiere. Still all after the assault from the hotel. She had a black eye, busted lip, and bruises on her legs, and still had to show up for the premiere of the movie The Perfect Match. She said, and I quote, "I had to change my outfit to cover bruises on my legs. I used makeup to hide my injuries, and then posed for press photos smiling next to a man who did that to me." She said, "I thought he was sick for thinking that was okay. I just wanted him to stay away from me." That's where we're at so far. But either way, the people in the comments saying, well, why didn't she leave? She could have left whenever she wanted to. Now you have your answer. The threats, the violence, the surveillance, the blackmail. This wasn't just a toxic relationship. It was psychological and physical domination. Y'all stay tuned. I'm going to keep updating y'all. Cassie is still on the stand. They are currently discussing text messages back and forth between her and the diddler. Okay, back with an update. I feel like Cassie is giving the most painful part of her testimony currently. because she's not only detailing the abuse, but she's starting to detail the damage done afterward. So let's walk through a few bombshells recently dropped. They started talking about like the pain and paranoia from like the potential of her sex tapes leaking. Cassie said it was a video of her with another man that Diddy filmed. She said she was hosting an event in Atlantic City and somebody pulled her aside and said that they had saw it. So she said she texted Diddy and said, "I need you to call me ASAP." That was on March 9th, 2014. So then she said, if that footage got out, it could ruin my career. It would embarrass my mother and my family. And understandably so, right? So they go into that, but then she tells the court how they would recover after like those nights of freak-offs, right? They then go on to discuss how they recover from freak-offs. She said, and I quote, "We go back to his place and get massages, but behind closed doors." She also said, "I had an addiction to opiates. I took pills to come down. I wanted to feel numb and not know what was going on in my mind." She says she got drugs from a dealer that she used with him starting in like 2007. When they asked how she felt after the freak-off, she said, "Tired, achy, dehydrated, like I did a job. I felt gross. Emotionally, I felt empty." Then they talked about the toll the freak-offs took on her health. Remember, these were unprotected activities. Cassie said the freak-offs caused her frequent UTIs, mouth sores, and stomach issues. She said, and I quote, "They were back to back. Sometimes I do a freak-off with the infection. I tried to flush it out with water. Cipro didn't even work anymore." Cipro is an antibiotic. "I got mouth sores from lubricant and oral sex. It was really painful for a long time. I can't believe I actually dealt with that." She also testified that Diddy tried to force her into a swingers lifestyle. She said, and I quote, "He said it was a lifestyle, that it was a turn on for him. But Cassie made it very clear that she never wanted to do that." She also said, "Sometimes he'd try to be funny or playful to convince me, but when I didn't want to go, he pushed it. She drank heavily at sex clubs just to get through it." They also used to go to sex clubs and sex parties. She said, "I didn't want to be sober during any of that." And finally, she spoke about fear and the pain she endured during those nights. She said, "Sean would often put his hands on me. He'd push me down, kick me, and sometimes she'd leave through the back door of a hotel to avoid him." When they asked how often she was injured during these freak-off parties, she said too often. I will keep y'all updated, but I'm trying to wait until I got enough to talk to y'all about instead of just wasting time giving y'all small bits and pieces. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go live for my subscriber only, and then we can discuss all of the things there. Y'all stay tuned.
They'll all be attacked on cross-examination. Their character will be impugned. They will attack the victims for not coming forward until Cassie Ventura came forward. How do you fix that? You find an outcry witness. What is an outcry witness? An outcry witness is someone the victim told about their at the time. So 10 years ago, I told you Sean Combs raped me at this party. I told you that then, but I never made a police report. That adds credence, credibility to the victim's statement. So a lot of victims are going to be attacked because they continued in a seemingly friendly relationship with Combs. A lot of women do that. Your boss makes advances on you unwanted. What do? Quit and starve? There's a lot of reasons women maintain a relationship with the rapist. So we may lose credibility on a couple of witnesses, but the sheer number of them, I find it hard to believe that a jury will choose to disbelieve all of these ladies and choose to believe Sean Combs.
Now, I know this is the moment y'all all been waiting for. The baby oil evidence. So Cassie said in her testimony that Diddy loved baby oil. Like, they had to be covered in baby oil during the freak-offs. She said that they would even have to stop every 5 minutes to reapply it because he liked them glistening. But I think one of the most shocking things from her testimony about the baby oil is she said, this nigga had a baby oil pool. When I tell y'all, I clutched my pearls. Because why, sir? Not a bottle, not a bucket, a pool of baby oil. So now we understand why there was 1,000 bottles of it. And where the fuck, like, was he getting it from the manufacturer directly? Because who has 600 to even 1,000 bottles of baby oil to fill a pool? But I'm pretty sure it took way more than, child. Yes, she said he had a pool of baby oil that he liked her to get into. Y'all. But there's way more. I was like, hell no. Not a pool of baby oil? That's fucking crazy.
Cassie described Diddy as polarizing. She says at times he would be charming, vibrant, And other times, his eyes would go black and he would go into fits of uncontrollable rage, and the person she loved was no longer there. She says something as simple as making the wrong facial expression could get her hit in the face. She says he would constantly say, "Fix your face, watch your mouth." It could also be something completely unrelated, she said, a bad phone call or a business deal gone wrong, and he would take it out on her. She says she then learned how to manage his emotions, when to bring things up and when not to, but it was always in the back of her mind that she could get hit at any time. And when he did, she says that he used to mash her head, stomp her head, bust her lip, bruise her body, and drag her by the hair. She also says that she quickly picked up on his obsessive nature. She called him an incessant caller, meaning that if she didn't pick up the phone, he would keep calling, or have an assistant do the same. And if she never picked up the phone, well then an assistant or himself would show up at her front door. He even gifted her an apartment on the Upper West Side and had a key. In fact, throughout their entire relationship, they never lived together, but he always lived a block or maybe 10 minutes down the road. She also says that he wanted to know down to the minute what she was doing every day and gave her what she now refers to as busy work. Earlier in the relationship, he would give her tasks like writing music, meeting with producers, working on her album. He would fill up her day to make sure that she was being productive. But today, she refers to it as busy work because none of those albums saw the light of day. She thinks it was just a control mechanism so that he could keep track of her. And without new music, her fans moved on and her music career started to die. There were also plenty of modeling opportunities that she was getting approached with that he forced her to turn down. I do want to note an interesting exchange around this time. Basically, prosecutors asked Cassie, "Did Diddy kill your revenue stream because you could have been making money off of these albums that were never being released?" And in other words, she basically said, "Who said I made that much money off of the first one?" Which is very much in line with what past bad boy artists have also said.
Diddy's RICO charge is starting to form with Cassie Ventura's testimony. Number one question I see, where is Diddy's co-conspirators? He can't get charged with RICO by himself. So let's go ahead and break down this RICO charge. That way you guys have a better understanding. How is Diddy getting charged with RICO? Because RICO, you have to have 2 or more people that are in this criminal organization. But based off what I've read on the court docs before the trial even started, it seems like a lot of these employees, agents, or co-conspirators are flipping and giving statements on Diddy. One of these people who are going to give testimony against Diddy has been confirmed during the jury selection as James Cruz, who was the president of Bad Boy, and Cassie Ventura also talks about him in her testimony. In my opinion, what the feds are doing, they are going to these co-conspirators and basically having them flip because they want the big fish, and if they flip and they testify against Diddy, then they're going to cut them some slack. Cassie Ventura has already named some co-conspirators. You have people like Christina Korm, who in the very beginning of her testimony, she said would come and track her down when her and Diddy weren't around each other. You also have her naming a couple security guards by name, like Roger Bonds, like D-Rock. She is claiming some of these people witnessed the abuse that she went through, helped Diddy put her up in these hotels for weeks on end, and sometimes even take her to the doctor after she suffered abuse by Diddy. And Cassie Ventura's testimony is technically only one part of this, but just her testimony alone is starting to lay those bricks. Diddy has a total of 4 victims altogether and other witnesses and people who are going to testify about a lot of different things. But a lot of people are confused when it comes to Diddy's RICO charge. They feel like it only centers around trafficking, and that's not true. A RICO charge has multiple criminal allegations that fall under it. That is why it's called RICO. They basically just group all of these criminal charges all together in one and charge you for a giant RICO charge. I think the reason why people get this confused is because they think Diddy only has trafficking charges. Diddy actually has 5 charges altogether in total. He has the RICO charge, he has the trafficking of Cassie Ventura, he has the trafficking of victim number 2, who we don't know who her name is because she's using a pseudonym, and then he has 2 charges to engage in prostitution. Big thing about the RICO charge, they don't have to prove all of the allegations that fall underneath of it. They only have to prove 2 allegations that fall underneath that RICO charge for Diddy to be found guilty of RICO. The criminal allegations that are falling under Diddy's RICO charge is trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Cassie Ventura's testimony, like I said, is starting to lay out these bricks for the RICO charge. Not only is it naming co-conspirators, but she's also talking about different allegations that fall under this RICO charge. The arson allegation that falls under that RICO charge is coming from Kid Cudi's car allegedly being blown up by Diddy or his co-conspirators. And Cassie Ventura testified about this today and said how Diddy wanted Kid Cudi's car to blow up in front of all of his friends. Cassie Ventura's testimony is only going to be one piece of this. We still have 7 weeks to go. They are also alleging that there was a kidnapping that was connected to a robbery of Kid Cudi's house before his car even got blown up. So yeah, we're only on day 3 and we have a long way to go, but just Cassie's testimony alone is starting to lay out those bricks for the RICO charge. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Certain people in the music industry have a handler. Where Diddy was originally at, and he got let go. Who picked him up? Clive Davis. That day, he acquired his handler. The music went boom. When they seen he was maxing out in music and it wasn't working for him no more, where did they move him to? TV. Start doing the making the bands. Then it went to merch, right? When that shit phased out, then he went to the revolt shit, then he went to the liquor. The Ciroc shit phased out. He was supposed to be moved elsewhere. But the liquor gave him the feeling that he had back when the music was popping. When they give him the De Leon, you got your run and we're gonna move you elsewhere. You know what Diddy said? Fuck that. I got $1 billion. I'ma tell you what I'ma do. Now, as they're building you, they're also establishing something, bring your ass down if they have.
So, of course, like everybody else, I'm keeping up with the Diddy trial. I came across this content creator's video, and if I find her again, I'm going to tag her. But in so many words, to sum it up, I'm going to explain it in a way that she explained it. Diddy was her boss. Before anything else, he was supposed to be her boss. She's under the impression that he's going to make her a star. She signs a contract for 10 years. 10 years. And in those 10 years, you know what he had her doing? Pretty much being a sex worker. That's what he had her doing. At 18. And this is for any parents out there with an 18-year-old. You tell me just how much your child know at 18. He groomed her. He got her when she was a child. He groomed her. So over time, you don't know nothing else. And you keeping her high on everything. And this is for my women that have been through any type of DV. Most of the time, you don't even realize how bad it was until you get out of it. It's not until you get out of it and you're able to have some clarity to realize just how bad it was. Because you can't think straight when you in those type of relationships. You don't see clearly when you in it. It's when you get out of it and that you realize just how bad it was. And on top of that, he keeping her high. So she definitely ain't thinking clearly. And now she got to relive all of this again to make matters worse. He need to be under the jail. I'm not understanding. He holding all of her stuff. And if she decides she don't want to do this no more, you still signed the contract, so I own you for at least 10 years. Makes sense. She signed a contract for 10 years and she got out of it at 10 years. He used her up for 10 years. A child. You groomed a child. You don't know nothing else. And you know every time you say, no, I don't want to do this, I don't feel like it, he beating on you. He blew up Kid Cudi's car, allegedly. But Kid Cudi confirmed it. She confirmed it. All because she was talking to this man. He broke in somebody's house. All because she was talking to somebody. So you telling me she not scared? You telling me she not scared? Y'all men gotta do better. Y'all the same ones that turn a blind eye to your homeboys and your brothers and your daddies and your uncles when they are abusive. Y'all the same ones that turn a blind eye. I've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand. And it makes you second guess yourself when somebody can watch something like that happen to you and turn their head. Turn their head. Like it didn't happen. Or that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's their business. If more of y'all held y'all friends and uncles and brothers accountable, we wouldn't have this problem. But y'all will turn a blind eye because that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's them. Your friend is an abuser. Y'all really make me sick. Like, it's disgusting. And I've been deleting people because I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that. That lady was a victim. She deserved everything they're going to give her.
I done remade this video about 3-4 times because the commentary that I'm seeing when it comes down to Cassie is ridiculous. It amazes me how people have so many opinions about what somebody should have, could have, or was supposed to do in a situation that they didn't live in for not even 2 seconds. You didn't walk a mile in Cassie's shoes when she was in that situation. You don't know the ins and outs of nothing except the story that she's telling and the video that proves that she has to be telling some type of truth. And also a settlement that had to come because if he had a leg to stand on in anything that she was talking about, then why would he pay her out that money at first? You got to make it make sense. Cassie was 19 years old and had a hip-hop mogul come in and be attracted to her, take her under his wing, and then of course you're going to take that opportunity. I don't know a 19-year-old that wouldn't. So now you with somebody, you in love with somebody, and in a relationship with somebody that has control over your career, has control over your life, has separated you from your friends and family to where the only thing you do is wake up, eat, live, and breathe whatever it is to make him happy. That is what that girl life turned into. And at one point she probably was like, okay, this is cool. She wanted to be a people pleaser. She wanted to make her man happy. But then she started to realize that when she started to say no, when she started to feel as though she wanted to use her voice, then punishments came. Y'all so stuck on just wanting to see the fact that she was with somebody for 10 years that y'all can't even realize that when you are in an abusive situation, when your mental is messed up, when you don't feel as though you have no way out, you are more apt to stay in a situation that's non-conducive to a normal lifestyle than you are to get up and leave. Because if you get up and leave, where are you going when he has control over everything and everybody? I can't even fathom to understand what Cassie was thinking, why she chose to stay, or why she said yes to the situations. But I can understand that if she felt like she didn't have nowhere to go, she didn't have no support system, she wanted to have a career in the music industry, and she laying up in baby all next to somebody who could put a stop to all of that, I can understand her being scared. I can understand her being fearful. I can also understand that in 10 years, she probably had a time span where it was her life. She probably had a time span to where she was trying to make it work. She was trying to do this and that. But there always comes a point where too much is too much. And the fact that y'all can sit on God's green internet and beat this girl down, tell her that she liked it, tell her that she had to play a part in it, and y'all don't know nothing at all, it is ridiculous. This is why women don't come out and say nothing. This is why women spend years and years in abusive situations. Because the minute that they say something, depending upon who it is and what type of support system, how much money they have, or what their status is in the world, they won't be believed. Everybody will have something negative to say, and their whole world get turned upside down based upon people's opinions who don't know nothing except seeing videos and court proceedings. That's all we know. You got to start handling people with love. You got to start handling people with care. And y'all will sit up on this internet and have the most outlandish opinions on people and know good and well that if you was in the same situation, you don't know what you would do. Because we all talking out of a broke state of mind. So we need to sweep around the front porches that we can afford. Because when it comes down to Cassie and Diddy's story, none of us had the opportunity. None of us have the bank account. None of us have the protection. None of us... We don't have a dog in the fight whatsoever. Leave her alone.
Well. Looky. I told them to have you waiting in my office because I personally wanted to book you myself. Now, I'm doing this for the peoples. They've been waiting on this booking, honey. I don't care how long you've been sitting in here. You're going to be in here for a long time. You want some chips? I'm trying to help you out. Ding dong Diddy. All right, sir, what's your inmate number? You say 374520546. Okay, you ain't got to tell me your first and your last name. I already know. Sean John Combs. Boy, I am not putting in no P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Love, all them other stupid names you had. Ooh, this foul. Sick! What you been doing? Well, let's read what it says, shall we? Sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation of prostitution, sexual assault, murder, allegedly. Child, it ain't all about the Benjamins now, honey. You can't pay your way out of this entanglement. You should have went over there with Russell Simmons when he told you to. Because they coming for you. I know Cassie feeling good right now, honey. Baby girl is living her best life. Diddley, what size jumpsuit do you need? Oh, large. No, I'm giving you a medium since you like things small and tight. Baby, I'm taking my time booking you because I want to enjoy this. I got a question. Did you get an endorsement with Johnson & Johnson? Well, baby, I can't tell. You had 1,000 baby oil bottles in your house. I know you want that goddamn ashy. You want some of this cornbread? All right, so you got to strip because I got to check you, so bend over. Did you wash today? Why you so hairy? You ain't getting no laser hair removal for that? All right, turn around. That's all? No comment. That's what all the men been hollering and screaming about, that little thing. Here go your little jumpsuit. It's giving you a bad boy for life. You look good and tight. I gotta take your little pictures. Gonna stand over there by that wall for me, okay? I'm only gonna take this picture one good time. 1, 2, 3. Why you look so mad? It's your fault you in here. Baby, they about to eat you alive up in here. You look a hot mess, but they like it. Why your eyes look like that? You look like you got a demon in you. Look like you got a whole legion of demons in you. Look possessed. You probably need some deliverance. All right, my friend. Now, which baby oil do you want? You want some lavender or you want the aloe and vitamin E? I would suggest the aloe and vitamin E. It's good for healing. It might get a little rough back there. Do you need a bar of soap too? I ain't know if you wanted to slip and drop the soap. Because you know that's your thing. Sean Johnson, you is not about to get up out of here. You is detaining him until your trial. They ain't about to risk you leaving the country. Because I know that's what you're trying to do. You know what? I feel bad for your kids. Because you're just an embarrassment. But I have no sympathies for you. Because you knew what you was doing all these years. Baby, I knew you was trash when you had making the band walk across that Brooklyn Bridge for a junior cheesecake. I know it's good, but All right, well, I'm done booking you, honey. Baby, you finna get loose up in here. With your oily self. Bye, Sean.
I'ma need counseling.